I got to the International Firewood Expo and I did a couple of hours worth of recordings, interviewing people, and then got home and found out the audio died on me. So I did not get any audio. So I am going to take you through very quickly what went on at the Firewood Expo and show you some of the people that I got a chance to meet and talk to. And unfortunately, I probably forgot a few names along the way, but hopefully some of you guys will actually get something out of it. Here was Dan from Back 40 Firewood, and he was getting all set up, and he had a bunch of stuff going on, and in the evening he did his Back 40 Firewood Friday Night Live from the hotel. So here we had the guy from Wolf Ridge. I was talking to him a little bit, and we'll see the Wolf Ridge setup in a little bit. So this Bobcat from Leppo Rents had the grapple that looks very similar to mine. I think they're all made at the same facility over in Finland. This was another Bobcat that was there from Leppo Rents. Over here we have the Dingo grapple on the front of it. And this is a gentleman that you've probably seen on one of Joe's videos from Cortland Mower. And he had a lot of stuff to share and to talk about. They carry a bunch of stuff. Go check out Ohio Wood Burner and you can get a full interview of him in his shop, seeing all the things he has available. Of course, no firewood show would be complete without the Eastonmade equipment. There we have the Ultra, which has a very, very fast cycle time. I don't know what it is, 3 seconds or something in that neighborhood. Great for resplits. Here we have the Access, the vertical splitter with the attached conveyor. This is the newer one where you can adjust the speed and rotate the conveyor 3 different ways. Here we have the 40C. This is the small end of the firewood processors at Eastonmade. They have a 48C and a 60C. The 40C has a 40-inch circular blade. Here we have another Ultra. And this, I believe, is the 1222, which is the same model that I have. This one has the shorter tray. Mine has the extended tray, which I like for sorting the wood. Over here we have Jeremy wiping all the water off from the day before, giving him a hard time. But he is a phenomenal employee of Eastonmade, and really enjoy talking to him. Real friendly guy. So one of the things that you can do with this is it's like I said, it's a much faster splitter, but it has a little dial on the front. You can start the engine on the front. The little dial allows you to adjust the speed of the conveyor and the splitter itself. There you go. But yeah, no. And when it first came out, it'll cycle down the engine after it hasn't been used for a period of time. But that cycle time was really quick, and so Andrew and the team, they have a chip in there that allows them to change the time, and they did that. They actually adjusted it so that it doesn't cycle down quite as quickly. And over here, I believe this was a 37D that came from Adam over at Hometown Acres. He was there, had a great time talking to him. We had dinner on Friday evening with a group of people. There were probably 20 of us there, and I believe that's the one that he's using in his yard. But one of the things that I noticed was that this was much bigger in person than what it looks like on the videos, and Joe has everything very well organized. I came over here, met the folks from Chain Locker, ended up coming back later and purchasing 2 chain lockers. This is neighbor Doug, if you've ever watched Adam at Hometown Acres, and he's got a channel called One-Eyed Customs. Great channel to check out. He's done some really neat stuff, and encourage you to take a look. So these chain lockers basically keep you from having a big ball of mess when you take your chains off of the saws, and then you can put them in here, keep them organized. And if you've ever had a chain get all tangled up, you know the value of this. So these guys here made a bourbon flavored maple, and they had maple candy, maple cotton candy. And if you've never had maple flavored bourbon, what they do is they take and put maple syrup in a wooden barrel that came from a bourbon factory that's being repurposed, and the flavor that gets infused into the maple syrup is amazing. So you may want to check it out if you've never had it before. So over here we have all of the Wolf Ridge equipment. They have the 17VS and the 17VS. C, VS stands for vertical splitter. C stands for the attached conveyor. Very nice units. Have the log lift. Both of them have log lifts. Over here we had another Wolf Ridge entry-level splitter, the 17. I can't read what it says there. RS, I think. And my understanding is this would be great for any homeowner that was just doing for themselves. You probably could do more than that, but it's got the log lift. It's got a four-way wedge. Obviously, you may be able to put more in a four-way, but it is one of the smaller splitters of the Wolf Ridge line. This guy was a big one. This had a diesel engine. I'm trying to remember the make of the engine. I can't think of it right now, but the 35 ton. The beer bottle, I think, was is extra. I don't think that comes standard with the Wolf Ridge 35. Over here we have an even bigger one. It looks like a unit that you would sit in the wood yard or put it under a covered area, and then it is somewhat covered already with the engine being underneath. But this feeding into one of the Wolf Ridge conveyors, the FC 16, which would be a 16-foot conveyor. It had the grizzly bars at the top to sort out all the bark and junk. This one here, I guess, is one of the most popular one. I believe this exact unit went home with Rick and Donita from Rick's Outdoors. So they towed that home and they upgraded theirs. So if you go check out Rick's channel, Rick and his wife, they have a great channel, and I think you enjoy it. Here we have, I think it was called the log saw, and this was through, I think it was Fox. We'll end up going over there afterwards, but Fox Forestry, and they were up in Maine. So this is actually a mill. You put a chainsaw on the top. You can see on the top rail over there, and they're going to load a log on. Each side can be lifted independently, but yeah, that was kind of a neat unit. It's a chainsaw mill, if you will, but a higher end one. Over here we got some more of Joe's famous firewood. And over here we have the folks from Logox. And I can say I just got my first Logox before I headed to the show. And we'll come back and see this Timberwolf. They were putting it together. This is a brand new splitter that they introduced to the market. And this is the first unveiling of it. And over here we have the actual Logox itself, which is what these guys are known for. And it's a 4-in-1 forestry tool. It can be used as a cant hook. It can be used as a hauler. It can be used as a timberjack, and it's very modular. Comes with a bag. And the fourth option now is there's a picaroon attachment to it. So this is the actual owner, inventor of the Logox. He came up to the show. They live up in Vermont, but I think I know everything's manufactured in the U.S., but I think it's down, I want to say down in North Carolina somewhere. So here he's going to show how this is used. This is the log hauler, Basically, the idea is not to have to bend over to use these things, but to be able to bend your legs and pick up a piece of wood. And I can tell you they bite in very well. I had some 18, 20-inch rounds I was doing today, and although they were very, very heavy, I can't imagine picking them up without the Logox. Here he's showing how you can drag them once you get it up. You can pick it up that way, flip it. Very versatile. So here he's going to put the handle on to turn it into a cant hook. And it's real simple. You basically just slide it in, put in one hitch pin, and there you have it. I forgot what the length is, but a very capable cant hook. He's showing here how, unlike normal cant hooks, you can actually get some more leverage because you got 2 points there, one on the handle down below and then one on the handle up above. And then here you're putting on, they put on a timber jack, if you will, that allows you to pick a log up like he's showing here. And that way, if you need to saw firewood, you're not cutting into stones and dirt and grass and rocks. So then, just as quickly as it went together, it comes apart. And he's going to demonstrate now how you can flip the wood. He's not going to actually do a flip, I don't think, but he's going to flip the wood. And then when you get done, there's a holster, and it was actually pretty light, the holster, that goes onto your belt, so you can have a place to store it. So the other thing you can do is there is a end that you can put on to make it into a pickaroon, so that if you are doing stuff where you're trying to, which you'll see me using a lot of my videos, I have a pickaroon, but you know what? Today I actually used 2 of them together, and it's a nice thing to be able to drag 2 logs that aren't oversized through the woods. And in my case, it was up a hill with the pickaroons, and they really do stay in there once you hook them. So here we have 3 of the people that I got a chance to meet and spend some time with while I was there. On the left, we have Obi, Bill Oberman. You probably see him on the Friday Night Live on Dan's podcast. And we have Cindy in the middle, and she is married to Carl on the right. And they have a place called 3 Green Acres. They mostly lived in the city, or close to the city most of their life, and they just bought 3 acres, and he has a great channel, 3 Green Acres. And then I had the pleasure of meeting the Millers from Miller's Stumps and Firewood. Check out their channel. They were a very, very nice couple. I did an interview here, but you're not going to hear any of it, unfortunately. But yeah, check out their channel. Very, very nice couple. And one of the things that he does is a little different from the rest of the channels, is he actually does a stump grinding business, and he jokes about how that fuels his firewood hobbies. Correction, it funds his firewood hobbies. Then I met this other nice gentleman who has a channel called Off the Trails Outdoors. Another good one to check out. I subscribed to his channel this morning. He's got over 1,000 subscribers, and he does a lot of the same stuff I do. He's got a John Deere tractor. He's got a Wood-Mizer wood mill. He does firewood. So if you're looking for other channels to look at, check his out as well. The next guy we have here is from Timberwolf. And Timberwolf has a firewood processor, had some kind of unique things in it that are a little different from some of the other ones out there. This has, look up above and down below where it grabs onto the log, so you can move the log in and out either direction. Everything's operated by the console up front. Green for go forward, you can see the splitter going forward. Red for stop. and then black is for going reverse with the splitter. So this is the back of the unit, and you can see that it's got a log deck, and you can see it's got that same sort of device in the back that allows you to take a log and move it forward or move it backwards. So then we walked over to the brute force units, and this is Josh. He is the owner of Brute Force. Sorry, my camera didn't capture his face real well. There we go. But he was a very nice gentleman, and really enjoyed talking to him over dinner on Friday night. But they had everything from vertical splitters to processors. I mean, here are all the product sheets of all the different models they make. And they still do some custom stuff, so if there's something you want that isn't maybe available today, talk with him. I mean, he seemed like a really nice guy as far as wanting to take care of customers' concerns. So my understanding is what he did was he saw the way that wood splitters were done in a bunch of other companies, and he got a little frustrated and said, hey, he talked to one company, I think it might have been Multi-Tech, but they said, well, if you want to make changes like that, why don't you build your own splitter and processors? And he said, I think I will. Next, I came over and talked to Tom Fox of Fox Forestry. He is out of Maine, and he was showing me kind of some of the innovations they had on some of their bags for firewood. And one of the things that I liked that my log lift bags didn't have were these covers that you could tie down. Mine don't have that. I tried using an IBC tote, but the challenge there is the tote cover is smaller than the log bag, and it just runs into the bag, so that wasn't a good solution. So they have a stand that they sell as well, but what I ended up doing was getting some additional bags, since I already have a stand that I got from Shaver, AJ Shaver, and he was a really interesting guy. This guy was a really interesting guy to talk to. They do a number of things. They do forestry management, and they had a good show special. I think it was like $15 per bag if you bought 10. There came in bags of 10. So I did get some of those, so you should see those on a future video. Fox Forestry was also showing off the log saw chainsaw mill, and that was pretty neat, and it's something you can take a look at in another part of this video. Tom was also showing me the Heatmaster boiler that uses gasification, so it's one of the newer style. I guess one of the things about gasification is you need to be about 15% or lower moisture content when you're burning them, and a friend of mine that has one says it's a little more finicky, but much more efficient. So Jack, if you're interested, this unit heats up to 4,000 square feet, and I was told that there's a special until Tuesday. He's trying to unload 3 of them that he's got in his warehouse, so he's highly motivated, and he had these marked down from I think $13,500 to $10,500, well, $10,000 plus. He was estimating about $500 to delivery down to Virginia. So thought I'd mention that to you. Next, I ran into Adam from Hometown Acres. If you guys haven't seen his channel, he is that does some unbelievable stuff. A lot of the same stuff I like to do. He's got a wood mill. He likes to make finished products from that. He does a lot of outdoor stuff, building structures, excavation, firewood, you name it. He does just about everything. And he had in his hand there some of his business cards that he made up off of thin pieces of wood that he milled up. And then he has a laser engraver, and he started doing some laser engraving and has some really nice pieces that he's done. So I suggest you check out his channel. But he was very gracious and spent time with anyone that wanted to talk with him. Then for the serious firewood bundlers out there, these guys were representing a product called V-Pack, and the gentleman in the middle, I quite honestly forgot his name. It might have been Kyle, but in any case, there's a whole video that Dan from Back 40 Firewood did on him, and he is a mechanic, mechanicized, I can't even say the right word. He's got an automated system for bundling firewood where you can just load in heaps of firewood, and then it has a tumbler, and he went through and kind of explained to me, and you'll see it on a sheet in a second, but he had the whole system for being able to easily bundle firewood, and it's all automated. And the young gentleman to his right works for him and does this all day long. And so rather than have wrappers and all of that, you can see here there's a whole system and conveyors for moving the wood in the tumbler, and there's like an agitator, and then what it does is the wood comes down, it goes into a bag, and you tie it off, and you're done. I mean, there's really no ever handling of firewood other than, the final product. So quite a neat system. It's from, I believe, over in Finland, like where a lot of this stuff comes from. But yeah, he came out just to be at Joe's event, and they live out in Colorado, and he is the rep for all of the U.S. But check out Dan's Back 40 Firewood, and you will see how this thing actually operates in person. He went all the way out there. He didn't drive, he flew. Our next stop was I think it's pronounced Hocky-Py firewood processor, and this is, I believe, one of their middle of the line firewood processors. They have a log rack over here. So looking in here, you will see this great thing actually holds down the log and keeps it positioned while the chainsaw comes down and makes the cut. It's auto tensioning from what he was telling me, so you don't have to tension the chain. All the controls are right there, and it can handle a pretty big log. You can see with that log deck attached. Pretty big lengthwise, I should say. I'm not sure I didn't ask him what the depth, what the diameter of the log is that it could handle, but I'm sure mileage varies. And then at the other end of the unit is a conveyor to get the wood out and away. Obviously there's a big ram and splitter in there as well. And I think they had either a 4-way or 6-way in there. Obviously Joe's Yappa was there, and it was cranking out the firewood into his disc cleaner. And I did not go over there and there were always a lot of people around the Yappa, so I did not spend any time there. Joe obviously has a ton of videos out there that you can go and watch where he's using his Yappa processor. So go to ohiowoodburner.com in order to access his videos. Here I tried to get up there and at least get some closer footage of the unit, the Yappa Perfect Split. Hopefully you guys can see. It's got pretty good speed to it too, pushing those pieces through. And here we have the wood coming out of the splitter onto the conveyor. On the back side you can see all of the scrap stuff coming out, going into a tote. So this is the back of the Yappa, and you can see the conveyor coming off, getting all the little scrap from the splits. And then over here we actually have where the sawdust gets collected from the chainsaw, and it goes through that blower, and all the sawdust gets blown into, the majority of sawdust ends up making it into that IBC tote. So very handy for helping to get rid of everything. keeping everything neat. Over here we have the new log deck, and this is a huge log deck. You can see he can put quite a bit on it. So when he's working, he doesn't got to stop and load more logs. He can just go ahead. And then next to this, we had the pallets, and they were running it, so I stopped over real quickly. You can see they got an attached conveyor here, and here he was turning around some splits and resplitting. And on the back side, there's a log deck that he had for his additional logs. And then I ran into Ken from York Firewood. Ken is a great guy. If you ever have a chance to meet him, stop by his channel, check it out. He's actually almost to 1,000 subscribers. So if you're looking for another channel to find some good stuff, him and his son Danny do this together, and they're a hoot. And I think they're at about 950 last I looked. So go ahead and help put them over to 1,000 subscribers. And here's Danny. Danny gives me his best shibe here. Woo! So I love talking to him. Great young man and a hard worker too. Then I stopped over to see Andrew. He's always willing to talk to you. If you go to a show and you don't stop and say hi to Andrew because you're shy or whatever, you're making a mistake. He's a very knowledgeable guy. You can learn a lot from. And what I like about him is he's always giving credit to all his employees. I remember him talking about how he doesn't believe he has a single bad employee. And he has around 60, I don't know, maybe 66 employees. And I went up there and I can testify. I met them, a lot of their employees, and they're as happy to see you come see the work that they're doing as they appear to be doing it. And then I went and took a look at the raffle table, so I'll kind of describe what was there. The first thing is a Butler box, and that was made by the Log Father. He's got a YouTube channel out there with quite a few subscribers, and his wife actually made this and did a beautiful job. I guess she loves doing woodworking, and inside they even had some felt-lined sub boxes or whatever. And so definitely check out the Log Father's channel. Next we had a sign made by Adam from Hometown Acres. Beautiful sign. And hopefully I didn't murder his name like I did the last time. But he made this beautiful sign to be auctioned off. There was a bucket of a whole bunch of different items. You can see here, travel mugs, things like that. And the back was a different auction. Was for the DeWalt battery-powered chainsaw. There were a lot of people looking, so I just kind of got a good view of everything. Here you had stuff from Yappa, some hats and pens and shirts, I guess. And then there was some beautiful, beautiful mugs from Logox, and then right next to it is an actual Logox that they auctioned off. That was a great win for the guy that got it. Over here we have shirts and a bag full of stuff from Go Fast Bundlers. And next, we'll take a look at this table. The first one is from Dan at Back 40 Firewood. He put in a Mesa solo stove, and he makes the wood that goes into those and can ship them anywhere, I believe in the U.S. So check out Back 40 Firewood if you want to find out more about his products. Next was some bunch of mugs and shirts and hats from VPAC. And this was probably one of the nicest things that I saw there that I wanted to win but didn't win. It was from One Eyed Customs. He actually refurbished the axe there and put a handle on it, and it's just beautiful. And then a whole stuff in the cooler full of items that people could use if they're doing logging. Bunch of hats and shirts from Eastonmade, and some chain lockers for organizing your chains. Over here was a cherry burl that Joe, the Ohio woodburner, put into the auction. And if you don't know what that is, those are great items that you can turn into bowls that have some beautiful, beautiful patterns. Here they had a drawing, a raffle for a log truck full of firewood. And down at the far end are the shirts that were available. The one on the right was the one for the show. The one in the middle is the standard one that you know if you watch Joe's channel, Family, Friends, and Firewood. And then the Employee of the Month shirt. There was only one for some reason, and it only fit Joe. I'm not quite sure, what the deal was there, but the other shirts were available for purchase. And here we had some gentlemen checking out Joe's storage container that he keeps his tractor in, and some Christmas lights in there. Here we had the Go Fast Bundlers, and they had, what did they have, six? Looks like 5 or 6 bundlers there, and everyone was sold. I think all was sold but 2, and once we got to the show, the other 2 sold quickly. So these were really nice. The nice thing about them is that you could easily walk up to the bundle when you were done, lift it up, and move it without feeling like you were leaning into the bundler. And the other thing that was nice is that if there's an issue with you accidentally stepping on the foot pedal, there was a safety switch that if something got in the way, like your head, it will stop automatically. And I think he demonstrated this here. You can see it actually stops it, which is nice. Great feature. Then I went back over to the Wolf Ridge booth and had somebody that was operating the 17 VS. Getting a little experience on it. Once again, very nice vertical splitter. Great for doing bundle wood. And you can see here, this is the one without the attached conveyor, so you're just sort of chucking it on the ground when he's done. And then all the way from South Carolina, talking to Dan from Back 40 Firewood, was Rick's Outdoors. Hey, check out Rick's Outdoors. Really neat couple. Got a chance to meet them, spend a little time. His wife there is named Danita, and I'm probably pronouncing it slightly wrong, but I saw her earlier, and it's funny how you recognize people, and you're like, if you don't see them with their spouse, you're like, okay, I know her, but what channel? And then all of a sudden, it dawned on me it was Rick's Outdoors, and what a great guy. And like I said, you meet these people in person, and they're just as down to earth as you can imagine. Here, Rick wanted to get a picture of me and his wife, Danita, and I asked him to take some video as well. I'm wearing my Firewood on the Hill shirt that I got a couple days ago. And then I got a better view of the log saw for you guys. You can see the chainsaw. Usually you need a pretty good size chainsaw with a ripping chain on it. And that crank right there is what you use to move the chainsaw up and down the aluminum rail system there. So Jerry kind of gives me a quick overview of how this works. I had a chainsaw mill at one point, but it didn't have a rail system like this, so this is kind of unique. And you can see on the far end, and then on this end, where the rails that the log is laying on, those actually can go up and down independently. And there is actually a scale, so you know how many inches you're going up or going down. So very, very nice unit here. And then I actually ran into the couple that came the furthest away. These guys came from Alaska, and they were on the live stream that Dan does on Friday nights a week ago, and they mentioned somebody was coming from Alaska, and they really did, and it was kind of neat to get a chance to meet them. That's a long way to come from for an event, but they wanted to be here. Then I ran into neighbor Doug from One-Eyed Customs. We talked to him for a little bit again, but yeah, he's the one that did that. His wife, he's the one that did that beautiful One-Eyed Customs axe that you saw in the giveaways. And then this couple to the front of the screen was Deb and Mike, and I had met them down at Firewood at the Fellowship at the Furnace down in Maryland earlier in the year, and got a chance to talk to them for a few minutes. Obviously, my camera skills here weren't focused on getting their faces. I got their feet, but real nice couple. They have, can't remember if they got a channel. It's Hogs Logs, I believe, but I think he told me when I was at Fellowship at the Furnace that he didn't have a channel, but him and his wife go to a lot of these events. And there's Obi again, and a couple in the back I got a chance to meet, but I could not remember their names. Mike was a joy to talk to. I talked to him for quite a while, and ex-military, and I think he was also a trooper, but he flies helicopters and airplanes, so got to chat about that a little bit. So while I was waiting for Joe, this gentleman in the orange on the left, I got a chance to talk to later. He's got a channel called Ben's Firewood, and check him out. Really nice gentleman. I was kind of waiting my turn to be able to talk to Joe and just thank him for the beautiful event that he put on. I have to say Joe definitely deserved Employee of the Month for the event he put on this month. So no arguments from me on that. So yeah, beautiful event. And then I got a chance to come over here and meet Austin. This was the new Timberwolf. He spent quite a bit of time explaining to me how it worked. Unfortunately, we didn't capture any of that on the audio. But basically, they worked with, I guess, Dan from Back 40 Firewood, Joe from Ohio Woodburner, and I'm forgetting one. There was one other person that was involved that they basically worked together to design this system, this new type of splitter with lots of real estate up on top to move logs around. And it is, I believe they said that they're going to be coming out with multiple wedges that you can put over top of the one that you see there. But the idea is to be able to move around at a very comfortable height. And this thing transports pretty easily. They had this in a square shipping box when it came in. The table in the back will fold down, and kind of taking a look. There's a back rail, so the logs, that as you push them out of the way, aren't going to roll off very easily. And yeah, the idea is to be able to take a Logox and very easily lift it up, put the log up on the table, and then start your splitting. And then a nice touch to the end of the day, we have Doug loading up the fire pit that was made by Wolf Ridge. It's their new fire pit. And he decided it wasn't hot enough, that 80 wasn't hot enough. We needed a little fire to have a little ambiance. So that's it, guys. I want to thank you for watching, and I apologize once again for the missing audio, but hopefully you got a little bit of a glimpse of what it was like to be at the event. Thanks, and have a great day.